Alright, this is just a quick video on how to do the manual transmission fluid on a manual all-wheel drive R60. This is a 2011 Countryman S all-4. There's a lot of videos out there in terms of how to do it on the front-wheel drive models. The location of the fill and drain plug is the same, but there's just a little bit more cramped down there in these all-wheel drive models, and there's no video, so I figured I'd just make a quick one to help anyone out that may be looking. I started filming this kind of in reverse order, so I started filming it when I had finished draining everything. So I'm gonna put all the clips that I filmed in chronological order, but I apologize for the kind of poor quality. It's gonna be pretty choppy, and I hope that I remember to include everything that I should. I'm not a videographer, I'm not a mechanic, just trying to help you out. All right, so you can see I brought a lot of stuff out, but at the end of the day, this is kind of all that I ended up using. Obviously, your oil catch can. With that, you're gonna need new gear oil here. I just used Redline MT90. I ended up only needing probably just under 2 quarts of this. I forget what the actual capacity is on real OEM, but I was worried, so I figured I'd just buy an extra one and return it after if I didn't need it. I also used a breaker bar. The 2 vice grips you don't necessarily need. I just found this is the easiest way to get the exhaust clamp kind of off and back on. You will absolutely need a 8mm Allen key or like hex. I found it was helpful to have one of these adjusters in the back. With that, you're going to need your wrenches. This one, I don't think you necessarily need to have one of these bendy boys, but it kind of just made life easier. You can probably get away with just the adapters, not sure. I also used a deep 16mm socket and then a normal 18mm socket, normal 13mm socket. And then obviously your fluid extractor to get the new stuff back in once you drain it off. All right, sorry I can't get my camera to zoom out any farther. Just to situate you here, this is your engine oil pan. This is your transfer case. Real quick, if you want to do the transfer case and the rear diff fluids as well, neither of them have drain plugs. Both of them have the fill plug on the right side. For the transfer case, it's this one right here. It's a 13mm. And for both of them, you just put the tube of your kind of fluid extractor down, try and thread it through the gears kind of at the bottom here, suck it out, and then of course just put the new fluid back in till it starts overflowing, plug her up, and you're good to go. Both the transfer case and the rear diff use the same fluid. Transmission uses a different fluid, and transmission actually has a drain plug, which is nice. Drain plug is right here. It's not too hard to get to. It's a 8mm hex or Allen key. Fill plug is a little bit more of a pain. Fill plug is just over the top here, right here. This one I tried to for way too long to get to without moving this bit of exhaust out of the way. I tried kind of every combination of extension and adapter that I had. Didn't work, but you're welcome to try if you can. It just saves you from having to move this out of the way here. If you do end up having to move this out of the way, it is fairly simple. To start, we're just gonna remove these 2 bolts right here. They're both 13mm, and then loosen this one up. This one is a 16mm, and you're gonna need a deep socket for that or a wrench. Once this is loosened up, you can kind of just pry these two ends apart, pull it off, and then this one comes free. All right, so now that you got this puppy loose, you're probably gonna need a little bit more room, unless you can, again, figure out a way to get to that fill plug with a combination of ratchet extensions and whatnot. I wasn't able to, so I felt the easiest thing to do was just make this exhaust a little more mobile here. I did that, by just taking off these 12 bolts here. So 1, 2, they're both going to be 18 millimeters. They were on pretty good. You definitely need a breaker bar or an impact for this. I also, just because I was tired of fiddling around with the ratchet and extensions, went ahead and took this one off as well. That's again just 1, 2 here, also 18 millimeters. Well, now that I'm putting everything back together, I don't know if you necessarily need to take this one off. It's pretty mobile as soon as you just take this off. I don't know how much of a difference it made. So I would start with just by taking this off again, just these 2 bolts. It'll allow you to wiggle this around a lot more and be able to get your ratchet up there to take the fill plug out. So start with that. If it doesn't work, you can always take this one off, but again, I don't actually think that helped a lot at the end of the day. So now that she's loose, makes life a lot easier. You can finally tackle the plugs. Like I said, this right here is the drain plug. And up here, let's see if I can get a better angle. Right there is the fill plug. That's the bugger that's been a pain to get to this whole time. To get that out, you're gonna need an 8 millimeter Allen key. I found it was easiest to get out with a 8 millimeter, one of these adapters, and then one of these bendy wrenches here. Pop her in there. Now that this one is able to move around, you shouldn't really have any issues pulling her off, and loosen that up. Once this one is off, you can go ahead and take this one off. Watch out when you take this one off, because it's going to have a lot of gear oil coming out really quickly. Make sure you have your catch can below there. But yeah, 100% though, make sure this one comes off before this one does, because if you drain everything, you're not able to put any new stuff back in, it's going to be a real issue. All right, so once she's drained, you can go ahead and put the drain plug back in. Give her a wipe down. I don't know if these are magnetic or not. I didn't see any metal shavings on mine. But either way, clean it up, pop it back in, and we're good to start filling it. All right, drain plug's back in. Good to start filling that. For this, I'm just gonna use some Redline MT90. It's quite a bit cheaper than the dealer fluid, but you're welcome to use whatever you want. I just have this cheap fluid extractor from Amazon. Pretty simple concept. Just put the hose in the fill plug behind here and keep filling until you start seeing the gear oil dribbling down. You'll know that she's topped up, and you're good to pop the fill plug back in. So that didn't actually end up being too bad. I topped her off, put the fill plug back in. Doesn't appear to be any leaks here. So yeah, to put it back together, of course, just put everything back in the reverse order you took it off, and I hope I was helpful. Have a good one.